The war on white people continues. Several states, including the state of New York, have implemented guidelines regarding the administration and distribution of potential life-saving treatments for COVID-19. And those guidelines include an eligibility requirement based on race. In the state of New York, the Department of Health on December 27th of last year issued these guidelines regarding COVID-19 oral antiviral treatments authorized in severe shortage of oral antiviral and monoclonal antibody treatment protocols. And if you scroll down to the section where it lists eligibility, you'll see that it has age 12 years, test positive for COVID, have mild to moderate symptoms, able to start treatment within 5 days of symptom onset, and the very last one, have a medical condition or other factors that increase their risk for severe illness. And that subpart of that is non-white race or Hispanic Latino ethnicity should be considered a risk factor, as long-standing systemic health and social inequalities have contributed to an increased risk of severe illness and death from COVID. Okay, notice how it doesn't say social inequality, it says social inequity, meaning inequality of outcome or equality of outcome. Okay, so here we are back to the whole systemic racism in America and white privilege leading to some sort of inequality or inequity in society with regard to non-white people compared to white people. Okay, so what exactly does race have to do with this? Have to do with your risk of becoming severely ill from COVID? So I went over to the CDC's website to see if there was anything about race in their guidelines for people who are at risk. And if you scroll down, who is at risk for infection with SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19? Currently, those at greatest risk of infection are persons who have had a prolonged, unprotected, close contact within 6 feet for 15 minutes or longer with a patient confirmed infected with SARS-CoV-2. So basically, the CDC's guidelines have to do with, personal protection, mask wearing, social distancing, things like that. And then down here, it says among adults, the risk for severe illness from COVID-19 increases with age, with older adults at highest risk. Okay. Were helpful at the CDC, so I went over to the Mayo Clinic. Pretty reputable source for medical information. So who's at higher risk of serious symptoms with COVID-19? People with older age, people with lung problems including asthma, heart disease, brain and nervous system conditions, diabetes and obesity, cancer and certain blood disorders, weakened immune system, chronic kidney or liver disease, mental health conditions, Down syndrome. Then, of course, it goes into more guidelines about protecting yourself. Okay, well, what about Johns Hopkins? Older adults, lung disease, heart disease, cancer, pregnancy, diabetes, people with weakened immune systems, immunocompromised, mental health conditions, neurologic problems, liver and kidney disease. Okay, then again, it goes into personal protection, protecting yourself. So I didn't see anything in those three sources, the CDC, the Mayo Clinic, or Johns Hopkins, regarding race being a factor in determining whether or not you will experience severe symptoms if you become infected with COVID. So what makes the Department of Health in New York and in other states like Utah and Texas, where similar guidelines are being implemented based on race? Well, again, this is about punishing white people. That's all it's about. It's about believing this narrative that people of color, non-white people, have been oppressed and been the victims of systemic racism and white privilege for decades. And now it's white people's turn to suffer, according to these blue states and the elected officials that run these blue states. I mean, can you imagine if you had a mother, daughter, son, husband, wife who was infected with COVID and was having pretty severe symptoms, and they were within that 5 days of symptom onset, and they were otherwise eligible to receive monoclonal antibodies or some other life-saving treatment, and they were denied simply because they were white? I mean, imagine if the script was flipped, and there was actual evidence to show that white people, because of their race, are at more serious risk of becoming severely ill from COVID-19. And we put that in the guidelines in any of these states where health departments have issued guidelines and said that in order to be eligible for life-saving treatment from COVID, you have to be white. Can you imagine the outrage the rioting, the looting, the arson that would take place. Can you even imagine that? I mean, I can, considering what we've seen over the past 2 years. But now all of a sudden, white people are supposed to be okay with being left out of the eligibility requirements simply because of the color of our skin. So if you live in one of these states, I feel sorry for you, and I urge you to get out while you can. I mean, I know that there's a mass exodus from California happening still as we speak, and I know that people are trying to get out of New York, which I don't blame them. I mean, between these guidelines and the assembly bills that they're trying to get approved within their state legislatures, as far as granting the governor the authority to declare a public health crisis and to be able to detain and separate whoever she deems a threat to public health and detain them for an indeterminate amount of time. Between these two guidelines and policies alone, I don't understand why anybody would want to continue living in New York. And honestly, it surprises me that there are similar guidelines being practiced in Texas, and that surprises me, quite frankly. Doesn't surprise me with Utah so much. Utah is becoming more and more blue as more and more Californians continue to flee California and move to Utah. I know that the governor has issued, the governor did issue last year a mandatory vaccine policy for state employees, and I believe the governor also just issued a mandatory mask policy. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share. You know the drill. See you next time.